All right. Okay. It is January 7th, 2019. We are in a new year. So happy new year. I was gone for a while. I was having kind of an existential crisis. I had to take a time out. I don't know. I had made a vlog on my vlog channel and things just got too real. I just was not in a good state of mind, but I am better now, kind of better. So I decided I was going to start the year on the book channel by talking about some of the. Did I leave the light on? Talking about some of the favorite books that I read last year. I read about 50 books last year, so I thought, okay, well, let's compile maybe my top 10 favorites. I thought it was going to be easy because for some reason in my head, I thought, oh, I didn't read that many books that I liked. And when I actually went through the books that I read last year, I'm like, oh, I liked a lot of books. So it was actually harder than I thought. But I did make a list of the top 12 of my favorite books that I read last year. They are not in any particular order. I don't have the mental energy to actually try to rank them. So we have Fox 8 by George Saunders. Is that how you say his name? George Saunders. This was more, I guess, how do you say it? Wow, I'm not good with words today. Novella. First of all, I fell in love with the cover of this book, and that's probably why I grabbed it at the library to begin with. But I think the main reason why I grabbed it was because it was obviously short. Sometimes if I'm in a reading slump, I will grab a book of poetry or I will grab something that's slim. I'm working through my memories of the book. Like, I brain dump things so quickly. You ask me what a book is about and I'm like, but I know that I liked it. The book is narrated by a fox that we just know as Fox 8, narrating the crisis that his family goes through and the battle with humans. And part of the plot is that I believe I'm see my memory. He learns to read human letters and words, and this is his new gift. His family, I think, originally saw him as kind of like a useless, but Fox 8 learns how to read, and then shenanigans just go from there. It's sort of like this message to humans. Why do you do the things you do, humans? Not much of a review, but I'm not really reviewing it. I'm more just throwing books out there that I like. Next, I have Taking the Arrow Out of the Heart by Alice Walker, a collection of poetry. I really love this collection. This book came at the right time. I found reading this collection very cathartic, and there's not much to say. If you like Alice Walker, I would recommend go reading this. Elevation by Stephen King. Now, when I went to double check this book, I found that I rated it 3 stars, but I just felt the need to put it on this list. I guess I could call it a novella as well. It's very short. It was kind of interesting because it wasn't really scary. It was sort of like, I don't know, maybe psychologically scary. It's a man that suddenly finds that he's losing weight even though he looks exactly the same, and it doesn't matter whether he's putting clothes on or if he doesn't have clothes on. His weight doesn't change if he's holding something or if he puts weight on, and he's steadily losing weight while looking exactly the same, and his weight is just going down and down and down. He's like wasting away to nothing but still looks exactly the same. It was kind of freaky. I rated it 3 stars, but my memory of it was like I really liked it. Then there was A Dog's Purpose by W. Bruce Cameron. I only read this book because of the movie. Last year, I flew from Nevada to New Jersey, which is where I'm from, to visit my mom. I stayed there a month. We ended up watching A Dog's Purpose. I had this book on my mental TBR for a very long time because I heard a lot of good things about it. I volunteer at a library and I keep seeing it and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta read it. And then the movie came out and I'm thinking, oh, I gotta read this book. So I'm with my mom. She's going through the on demand and she's like, what is this? And in my head, I'm like, no, Mom, I didn't read the book yet, please. But also I was afraid because since I hadn't read the book yet, I had it mixed up with the story To Dance with the White Dog. So I'm like, oh no, I can't watch it right now. It's sad. But she was like, no, let's watch it. And I fell in love. Oh my gosh, I was obsessed. Like, I could not get that movie out of my mind for like a good week. Time that I watched it was right around the time that Prince Harry got married to Meghan Markle. Don't know why I have that in my head, but I just remember it was around that time, and I'm like watching. I kept watching clips of the movie and then part of the wedding saying next to it in another tab, you don't need to know this. But I was obsessed. It was, oh, I loved it. It wasn't sad. It was sentimental, and there is a difference. So I was crying. So I was like, book, when I get home, I'm reading this book. While I was in New Jersey, I put it on my library queue, picked it up when I got back. I loved it. There is some significant differences between the book and the movie, and I had planned to talk about books and film adaptations before I decided to have a pity party, but I loved this book. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. Then we have The Girl Who Smiled Beads by Clementine Wamaria. I can't read my own handwriting. I apologize if I butchered the name. This is actually a memoir. I had read A Digital Galley. It's pretty harrowing. This is dealing with the harrowing experience of a refugee camp. There was a lot of wisdom in the book. My memory is foggy of it, but I would recommend it. There was a lot of redemption. There was a lot of healing that she had to do because she dealt with PTSD from her experience in a refugee camp, which is not uncommon for that to happen because she eventually did come to live with a family in America, but she had to heal while she was going through that. I would recommend it. I know that I'm really not good at summarizing, but if you've been following my videos, you already know that. So then we have Obsidio. I never figured out how to pronounce this. Is it Obsidio? It is the third book in the Illuminati Files trilogy. I already had made a video talking about this, so you already know that I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good finish to the trilogy, and it remained one of my favorites of last year. I had a lot of fun reading it. Then we have The Shape of Water. Maybe I should practice pronouncing names before I turn on a camera. This was another situation where I saw the movie first. I can't remember if I saw it on the flight from Nevada to New Jersey or from New Jersey to Nevada. I saw it on the flight. Wasn't the best experience because, number one, it was edited a lot because other people are around you. Number two, the headphones that I had, my headphones, broke. I went to stand up to use the bathroom on the plane, stood up with the headphones, broke them. I had to ask a flight attendant for their free earbuds, and they were crap. I could barely hear anything in this movie. I pretty much got the sense of it. So when I got home, I decided to watch it. I watched it with Derek, my boyfriend, read the book, and understood the movie a lot better. This isn't an exact line-by-line novelization of the movie. There is quite a bit that is different. For one thing, you obviously get the viewpoint of Eliza, but you also get the viewpoint of Colonel Strickland and his wife. So that makes a huge difference. You get more background on Strickland. It flows a bit differently. If you did see the movie and the ending, which I'm obviously not going to spoil, was kind of like, does that mean what I think it means? The ending is a lot more clear. I'll just leave it at that. I really did enjoy it. I actually had fun reading it, and I enjoyed the movie, and so did Derek. I watched The Dog's Purpose with him a second time. I was crying more the second time since I knew what was coming. I still love that movie. I'm sorry, I'm sorry to go back, but I love that movie. Anyway, I already had talked about this book, but it was one of my favorites, Macbeth by Joe Nesbo. I thought it was a very good retelling of Shakespeare's Macbeth, which I already said is one of my favorite Shakespearean plays. I'm not gonna say much more about that. Friday in Black, technically, I finished it this year on the 1st. I read the entirety of the book and read the last story on the 1st. By the end of the year, I was reading very slowly, but it's a collection of stories. The author is a person of color. I would pretty much call it dystopian. The first story is like, bam, just kind of punches you in the face a little bit, but then it kind of calms down. It's good. There we go. He reveals the violence, injustice, and painful absurdities that Black men and women contend with every day. Stories tackle urgent instances of racism and cultural unrest and explore the many ways we fight for humanity in an unforgiving world. But it's actually really good. We have Sense and Sensibility by Spencer Quinn. This is another book that is narrated by a dog. It's part of a series. This was during the summer reading program last year. Blind date with the book. The book is wrapped up. book. There's a brief description of what the book is about. You grab it, check it out, and then you review it. I actually had a good time. It's narrated by a dog, but the narration is a very stream of consciousness narration. Can get confusing a little bit only because the dog has a short attention span and it's just blah, 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 blah. But it is a cozy mystery, and over the past couple years I've really come to love cozy mysteries. I didn't give it the highest rating, but it stuck with me. When I looked at the reviews, people who were already fans of this series said that this was one of the flatter books in the series. So to me that means like, okay, so the other books are going to be really, really good. I enjoyed it, really enjoyed it. We have Vox by Christina Dalcher. This was also a digital galley that I got months in advance before it was released. By first to read, if I didn't mention that on the other digital galley, 99% of the time, first to read. This was a dystopian novel. In America, we're in a world where all women's words are limited. I think it was like 100 words a day. Because they had some sort of like shock wrist. You get shocked if you curse. You get some sort of buzz if you go over the word limit, and then the buzz gets worse and worse and worse. Women are no longer, I think they're not allowed to read. You aren't allowed to even sign because you can't communicate in any way past the 100 words. Girls go to school, but it's no longer regular curriculum like reading and math. They're just taught how to sew and how to cook. It was kind of scary. I've talked in length about dystopias when I talked about the movie RoboCop. The thing about dystopias is that for the most part, it's something that is feasible that it could happen. Not necessarily probable, but it's definitely possible that it can happen. This word limit was something that came from the government, and as the story progressed, it gets worse. Now they want to limit it to 50 words. They were doing contests in the school for girls. Whoever speaks the least amount of words gets a prize. The narrator is the heroine that's gonna take down the government. I enjoyed that one. Clause for Concern by Miranda James. I believe this is the second, maybe third, but I'm thinking it's the second book I have read in the Cats in the Stack series, another cozy mystery. This was also a digital galley from first to read. I like this series. I really do like this series, and eventually at some point I am gonna start from the first one. I don't have much to say about it except for I like cozy mysteries. The cat in the story is this huge Maine Coon cat. The protagonist, I'm pretty sure that he did work at the library, but in this book he volunteers at the library, so either I confused that in my memory or he retired. And in this book he's enjoying a brand new grandson that he has. This guy who is this famous writer wants to write a book involving him, talking about the mysteries that he has solved, and somehow he just gets roped into another mystery involving a cold case. The thing is, I want to tell people, hey, you should try cozy mysteries, but there's so many types of cozy mysteries. I just don't want to blindly say, read a cozy mystery. I would say go with your interest, because there are a lot of cozy mysteries that have animals. Mainly you'll see dogs and cats. Cozy mysteries that involve like baking. There's like one that's like a knitting mystery. There's a lot. So I would just say if you're interested in the cozy mystery, just go by your interest. I do plan on delving more into cozy mysteries. I've been having a positive experience with them. Well, that is it. Get over here, check. Do you have to use the bathroom? You're giving me that face. She's giving me a concerned face over here. Yeah, she's giving me a look like I got it. You need to go outside? You didn't want to go outside? Yeah? Do you want to go outside or not? Do you want to go outside? Okay. Like I said, I'm feeling a little bit better. I am taking it slow. I'm not going to do the book resolutions because I don't want to try to back myself in the corner, especially since I had a pretty funky year reading-wise. I mean, I read a decent amount, but I just wasn't into it, and that's another reason why I brain dumped so much, because I enjoy reading, but I just didn't have the energy. The book I am reading right now is a physical arc. I feel so bad because I do not know who sent it. I don't know who I got it from. I'm gonna double check to see if it was a Goodreads giveaway, but I don't think it was, because usually like, when you enter a giveaway and you win it, you usually get communication through email saying, hey, you got it, and it didn't. It came straight from a publisher. Don't know where I got it from, but if I figure it out, I will notate it somewhere. Before She Knew Him by Peter Swanson, it comes out in March. So in 2 months, I wanted to make sure I got it read before it came out. The narrator is pretty darn sure that her neighbor is a murderer. She is right. That is not a spoiler. That is put up front in the very beginning that yes, she is correct. It's just a matter of how is she going to find out? Is she going to be able to prove it? That's the mystery here. It's clearly not that cut and dry. There are twists and turns that I haven't discovered yet, but I know that there are because I have seen other non-spoiler reviews. The narration follows her and the murderer. So it seems like there's just this back and forth cat and mouse type deal. Like I said, it's up front that this is a murderer. She knows it, and he knows that she knows. I'm pretty much still in the beginning. It hasn't grabbed me, but when I check the reviews, I always check the reviews to make sure I am just not way out there. When I checked the reviews did say that it was kind of slow in the beginning and picked up. We're gonna see. I've rambled long enough. Hello again, I am alive. Do you love my shirt? I love this shirt, because this is pretty much me every day of my life. I do have a review planned for Alice Isn't Dead by Joseph Fink. A review. We know that's just me blabbering on about nothing, but you guys apparently like that. I hope you have a great... I hope you have a great week and happy reading.